Hi everyone, I'm Ben, the sole developer of Brawlers, and this is Devlog 2. Now over the last couple of weeks, I've actually got a lot of progress done. We have a menu system, we have customization of the bots, as well as the first level. So let's explore what we've got done. But first, let's go back to how it was. So here's how we left off last time. Very much basic bot going around a placeholder arena made out of these prototype blocks. So, what did I do next? Well, first off, I need a blender. No, not that one. That one. Now the thing is with Blender, I'm not the best, I've got some experience, but what I can do is create something that's decent enough for me, especially for grey boxing and the initial version. Once that was done, it was time to bring it into Unreal, and what I decided to do was add some lights. This was about going through the reference material and finding that they use spotlights to guide where the bots were. So I wanted to bring those in, as well as thematic lights like spotlights and LED arrays. Next up was texturing, so this was the first pass of it. I thought it looked quite cool, but then I started to look through the references again and found that mine was actually nowhere near. So I took another crack at it, and I'm much more happier with this version. It really kind of hits the Robot Wars vibe for me. And here you can see I've also got some AI that chases the player. Not much happens right now apart from that, but that alone was quite the headache. And all it was I didn't set up the collisions correctly on my custom arena. Next up, lights again. So this has the AI with the ability to actually hit each other and choose a random target. The issue is they'd end up kind of backing each other into a corner and yeah, they'd be stuck. I did the pit, so as you can see I've fallen down into it, and that'll be how people are eliminated in one version of this. As you can see we have lights here as well. Much more to the reference material. Then more AI. Here's the tree I have so far with a lot of arguments as to trying to find out who to fight, and here we go with the bots using that tree. Nothing's perfect yet, but they seem to actually not always fight each other and will sometimes go after the player. So this is at least a good step one of this AI. So finally, menus. What I did is I created this very basic version with graphics that had the general preset that you could use, as well as a custom one once you adjusted any other dials, and these would automatically apply once you hit the save button. I didn't set up anything else besides the display, where it changed the resolution as well as the full screen mode. But once this was done, I thought, you know what, let's redo this.
2,000 years later.
What a mistake that was. So I went through and I redid all of the UI. This took me a while because I had to build all the systems back up from scratch, but I'm much more happy with how this one looks and how it flows. So here I've got the graphics options back, got them all working again, including the benchmarking version. And then I wanted to add even more to it. I wanted to actually bring display and put that in with graphics. So let's give that a try.
6 hours later.
And there we go, I managed to get that done. So now graphic options has display and graphics both under the same header. Both of these now work, so for now this will be kind of where I leave it until I decide to do another UI overhaul. And this will be once I decide on the actual kind of themes I want of that UI. But for functionality, this will do. Now let's move on to some custom bots. So back at Robot Wars there was a lot of things you could do to do this, but I didn't want to try and implement too much straight away, so instead I went through and just decided to implement the ability to choose what kind of frame, the armor and the weapon. So this was the very first version I did of this. This was using the same kind of setup as the graphics options just to get the functionality there, but then I wanted to go through and overhaul that, so that's kind of what I did next. And part of that overhaul I wanted to add a list within a list of all the assets that you could be using. So this was frame having its own list, armor having its own list and weapon. The thing is I can then add more to these, so as I expand this game I can add more and more to these headers and it will just increase that list. At this point there was no functionality, so next up was about adding that functionality. So going through, clicking on these different buttons, and this would then send that part to the display bot to then put that into the game once you click play. So as you can see right here, I can go through, I can click on the different armors, I can click on the frame, and I can now choose a weapon as well. And once that's all done, I can hit apply, choose the arena I want, and there we are. My custom bot is now in the arena with the weapon functionality in it. So there we are, that is how Bot Brawlers is right now. As you might be able to tell from my voice, especially from the last video, I'm a bit under the weather, so this is as much development as I've managed to get done whilst being ill. I'm probably going to put a pause on these videos until after Christmas, because I won't be able to spend that time with my family, but then we'll pick it up with Devlog 3. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Give me any suggestions you might have for the game in the comments, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.